Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, and with the new year upon us, I wanted to look at some of the games coming out this year that have piqued my interest. I'm not one for time wasted on introductions, so let's dive right into it in no particular order. Total War Saga: Thrones of Britannia.
Ragnar Lothbrok lies dead in the Northumbrian dirt. Veins choked with Anglo-Saxon wrath and viper's venom.
Anyone familiar with this channel probably knew this would make it to the list. Thrones of Britannia from Creative Assembly is the first of a new line of Total War games under the moniker Total War Saga. Set after the initial Norse invasions of the British Isles, Thrones of Britannia will give players control of the various warring factions in the region starting in the year 878 AD.
That brought Alfred the Great to his knees. But some men can only be pushed so far.
While the campaign map will give you a large-scale view of what's going on across countless provinces in your kingdom, allowing you to develop your economy, build your cities, muster your forces, and march them from battle to battle, the second half of the Total War coin is always the real-time battles where you command said armies on the battlefield in glorious graphics. We haven't seen any gameplay footage yet, but outside of some major catastrophe, this one is definitely one to look out for.
To Britannia, kings will rise. One will rule.
Ancestors' Legacy. Also set during the Norse invasions of the British Isles, Ancestors' Legacy by Destructive Creations is a real-time strategy game that is bringing squad-based tactical combat to a historical setting. With the game already having some coverage on this channel, I can say firsthand that it is fun to play. Single player sees missions set across major events in the period, and with 4 playable factions, single and multiplayer should both provide a fair bit of variety. The game has a core rock-paper-scissors type system, as most games of this type can be boiled down to, but the implementation of ambushes, flanking, rear charges, outnumbering, and a morale system creates a fairly dynamic battlefield. Not to mention a dynamic weather system and a day-night cycle that actually changes line of sight and the rate at which you can burn buildings down is just a few examples. Multiplayer also provides an interesting approach to the resource point system. You take over nearby hamlets and villages and have them produce resources for you. They can defend themselves to an extent, but will need player assistance to survive an enemy raid. All in all, a lot of very interesting thinking in this game, and the cherry on top is a very gorgeous cinematic action camera that lets you get really close to some of the fantastic and brutal animations in the game. Iron Harvest, a game built out of glorious concept art, Jakub Rozalski, whose name I have most certainly butchered, reimagined the Polish-Soviet War in a series called World of 1920+. Paintings that depicted Polish countrysides and cavalry alongside giant robots in various states before, during, and after battle. Out of this, we have a very interesting looking alternate history game by King Art Games set after the First World War.
It's been 2 years since the Great War. The first mechanized conflict in history.
A world where some dark force is looking to destabilize Europe. With 3 playable factions of the Saxony Empire, the Polania Republic, and Rusviet, we've seen that there will be a single-player and multiplayer component, though too much hasn't been revealed about either. An interesting variety of hero characters, mechs, and regular soldiers will all be a part of the forces you lead into battle, with a cover system and a dynamic destruction system that keeps soldiers on their toes as cover literally falls apart around them. Just take a look at this little guy bayonet charging the giant mech through a wall. The game looks absolutely gorgeous, and boasting sandbox levels and a dynamic storyline, the single-player and multiplayer both sound equally compelling. Into the Breach. Another gorgeous game from Subset Games, the creators of FTL Faster Than Light, Into the Breach is a turn-based strategy game that sees players saving the remnants of humanity from the Vek, gigantic creatures that have been breeding beneath the earth. Technically, we don't know if this game releases in 2018. It'll release when it's ready, say the developers, but given its appearance on Steam, I'm guessing it'll be at some point this year. When it does release, we'll be responsible for defending civilian structures using giant mechs, unique weapons and pilots, time travel, and various tile types to our advantage, as you can see in the clips here. Randomly generated worlds to defend every time around means there should be plenty of replayability in the single-player only game, especially when coupled with what looks like an interesting combination of mech types, all with different tile-based abilities, movesets, and equipment. BattleTech. Originally set for release in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, BattleTech is based off the wargaming franchise from the early 80s. Taking us to the year 3025, we see a galaxy stuck in war and lead a mercenary outfit of mechs fighting for a quick buck under the patronage of feudal lords warring for dominance of the inner sphere. Developed by Harebrained Schemes, this game looks like a fantastic turn-based tactical game complete with a single-player campaign and PvP multiplayer. Picking pilots and configuring mechs is all part of the process, and the use of terrain and equipment will elevate the tactical experience. Line of sight and scouting plays a major role in getting the drop on enemies, and damaging components is, of course, an essential part of gameplay when mechs like these are involved. This game looks good as far as we've seen, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Wartile. This game by Playwood Project is currently in early access and was supposed to get a full release in Q4 of 2017, but has since been delayed to 2018. Although it looks like a turn-based strategy game, this game actually plays in real time with cooldown systems. Visually, Wartile is a treat, emulating tabletop dioramas as battlefields for miniature figurines. Leading Viking war bands on various missions, the game has a customization and leveling up system for your warriors, and it adds a very interesting mechanic with a card-based system for special abilities, equipment, buffs, and the like. The dedication to the tabletop aesthetic from a visual and mechanic perspective leads to some really interesting UI decisions, and I look forward to exploring what other ways it uses this approach when the game eventually releases later this year. Deep Sky Derelicts. A turn-based strategy RPG hybrid, this game by Snowhound Games is most easily described as Darkest Dungeon but in space. Currently available in early access with a full release planned for later this year, Sky Derelicts brings a story mode as well as an arena mode and uses a procedural system to ensure a great deal of replayability. Boasting endless customization options, this roguelike will have you exploring, looting, upgrading, and fighting in derelict alien ships with up to 3 mercenaries that are headquartered at your scavenger's base, hoping for an end to their lives as outlaws to society. The use of a card-based system to help randomize encounters is an interesting touch as well, changing everything from equipment to stats to abilities, and as each piece of equipment and mods add more cards to any given character's deck, we see in some ways a deck-building element. The art style is absolutely fantastic as well, creating a suitably gritty world, and the added touches of graphic novel-style panels, speech bubbles, and effects really help the game stand out. Honestly, I might actually pick this up in early access, though I can't wait to see it fully fleshed out with all the planned content. Age of Empires 4 gets an honorable mention on this list. We know next to nothing about Age of Empires 4, but it's an Age of Empires game, so I'd be lying if I didn't say I was excited for it.
Changes everyone. And everything. Empires will rise. Kingdoms will fall. The grounds of battle become stained with fire and blood. But our thirst for adventure, exploration, discovery, and conquest will stand the test of time. Together, we have battled through history. Now, a new age is upon us.
I'll definitely keep my eye out for more news and hopefully early access if the opportunity presents itself. And that's some of my most anticipated strategy games of 2018. There are many more coming, of course, and some that fall under similar categories of city building and the like, but since I had to narrow it down to some degree, these are the standout titles that I think we can all look forward to over the course of this year. What strategy games make your list? Did I miss any that you think I should be more excited for? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, cheers.